so by the end of the lesson, you guys will be able to represent a pattern in multiple ways, as evidenced by completing a tile pattern task with your team and a ticket outdoor. All right. So basically, we are going to be doing a lot of group work. We've already seen this since last week. Today's going to be no exception. We're going to talk about what exactly it means to have a function. So let me go ahead and read the following to you guys. It says, what does it mean to create multiple representations of a function? In this lesson, you will investigate multiple representations of various functions, describe their patterns of growth, and describe characteristics of the graph. All right, what I'm going to have you guys do is, first of all, let's look at what we're given. So look at tile pattern 1. If you're looking at tile pattern 1, you will notice that we are giving you guys different representations already. So we want to figure out what the pattern is between the following figures. And you'll notice that there are some things missing. So first off, yes, we are given the squares here, and we do want to find the pattern. But we also want to make a table, a graph, and also write an equation. So we have 3 things missing. And what I want you guys to do is, with your teams, you're going to take about 5 to 10 minutes per question to answer all of the following. You're going to look for the pattern given the figures. You're going to make a table, use that table to graph it, and then also make an equation. And at the bottom, we have some extra questions for you guys to answer, such as, what is the pattern description? Like, what is it growing by? Are you adding a certain amount of blocks every new figure? Are you subtracting blocks? Kind of like what's going on. And then you guys can kind of look at the rest of the questions on your own. You're going to also describe the shape of the graph. Is it a straight line? Is it a curve? What kind of shape do you get? And you're going to answer the bottom questions as well. So let's take about 6 to 7 minutes for the first one. See if you guys can answer that. You're going to work with your team. So I want everybody to be collaborating with each other. And if you have any questions, call me over, call Ms. M over, Adrian, or Jacob. Are there any questions on what we're doing for this first tile pattern? Should be pretty straightforward. We're just looking for patterns, basically. All right. So you guys can go ahead and get started, and we'll check back in about 7 minutes. Please look up here so that we can answer some of it together and make sure that we're doing this right before I have you move on to the next one. All right. So it wasn't only about seeing the growth, like not just about seeing how many blocks we're adding, but also about seeing where are we placing these blocks. All right, because if you notice, there is a certain pattern of where these extra blocks get placed. So, well, one of the first things is, first of all, let's count how many blocks we have in figure 0. And we can kind of do this simultaneously. We can answer the blocks, how many blocks we have, and we'll put that in the table just so we can get a count of how many blocks we have in total. So figure 0, how many blocks do we have in figure 0? We have 3 blocks. And then in figure 1, how many blocks do we have now for figure 1? Raising your hand. How many blocks, Andrew? Now we have 8 blocks. Okay. And obviously, yeah, you can count them. You know there's 8. Now in figure 2, how many blocks are there now? Declan. 13. What about figure 3? That's the last one we're given. So figure 3. Gael. 18. Okay, now figure 4 we don't have. All right, now I'm sure some of you guys can kind of fill in the blanks, and you could anticipate what figure 4 and figure 5 will have. But let's stop there for now, because that's all the information that we're technically given. Now let's talk about where we are placing these blocks. So we're going from 3 blocks to 8 blocks. That is an increase of how many blocks? 5 blocks. That means we are adding 5 new blocks to the next figure. Does that make sense for you guys? So we're adding 5 new blocks to the next figure, but where are we placing the 5 new blocks? Well, let's look at figure 1. So originally figure 0 was 3 blocks. If we look at figure 1, you still have the 3 blocks from figure 0. So where are we placing the new blocks? Where are we placing the new blocks? Let me ask one of you guys. Let me ask Jorge. Where are we placing the new blocks? No. So look at figure 0 and figure 1. So you still see the 3 blocks from figure 0 and figure 1, but now we have 5 new blocks. Where are we placing those 5 new blocks? Keep thinking about it. I'll come back to you for the next one. Go ahead. 2 on the top, 2 on the bottom, and 1 on the side. Do you see that, Jorge? So we're adding 2 on the top, 2 on the bottom, 1 on the side. All right. Now we can go to figure 2. We see the 3 blocks, originally the 3 blocks from figure 0. We see the 5 blocks that were added from figure 1. And then we're adding, again, 2 more blocks, 1 on top, on bottom, and 1 to the right. Okay? Do you guys see that? Okay, so now we can draw figure 4, because we can kind of get an idea of what we're supposed to get. So for figure 4, you're going to do the following, if you haven't already done it. You have 3 blocks to start with, and that is from figure 0. Okay? And then we said in figure 1, we added 2 on top, 2 on the bottom, 1 to the right. Figure 2, we did that again. 2 on top, 2 on the bottom, 1 to the right. Figure 3, we repeat this again. 2 on top, 2 on the bottom, 1 to the right. Are we done? Oh, this is kind of offset. Let me move this. This should be 2 blocks over. Otherwise, it won't look right. Let me fix that. Should be right here. There it goes. Okay, so 1. There we go. There we go. That's looking a lot better. And finally right here. Okay. All right. So that is my final figure, yeah? Is that right? What do you guys think? Or am I missing more blocks? Because if I count them, I have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. Didn't that correspond to figure 3? So I'm still missing 5 more, okay? So I'm going to place those 5 more following the same pattern. 2 on top, 2 on the bottom, and 1 to the right. Now we are finished. Now these blocks correspond to figure 4. How many blocks are there in total? How many blocks can I write for figure number 4? Go ahead and count them up. 23. Right. Thank you. So there are 23 blocks in total. Okay, now that we know the pattern is adding by 5, how many blocks can I expect for figure 5? 28. Okay. And then 33. And 38. And 43. And 48. And so on and so forth. Right? You guys get the idea? Okay. If I wanted to write an equation for this, how could I write an equation for this pattern? Well, why don't we do the following? We're going to have 2 variables, x and y. Okay. We are going to let y represent the number of blocks. If y represents the number of blocks, what do you think x represents? The figure. Figure 1, figure 2, whatever figure you have. It's the figure number. How many blocks did we start with? We started with 3 blocks. Right? And these 3 blocks, we are adding how many more? It's okay. No, you're good. Thank you. Once again, we start with 3 blocks and we're adding how many blocks? 5 blocks. So we're adding 5 blocks every time we introduce a new figure. So that's going to be 5. And where do you think I'm going to place the x? Next to the 3 or next to the 5? What do you think, Roberto? Next to the 3? So if I place my x next to the 3, then I'm saying we're adding by 3 each figure. So then it's next to the 5. All right. So you guys can go ahead and write that equation down. We have 3 plus 5x. All right, now let's graph this. 3 plus 5x. That means we are starting at 3. So your first point goes at 3. And then the next point goes at 8. And then for figure 2, we said we had 13. Figure 3, we had 18. Figure 4, we had 23. And figure 5, we have 28. Okay? All right, here's my question to you guys. Am I going to connect the points? Well, first of all, what kind of shape do we get? We get a straight line, yes? Do you guys see how we get a straight line? Okay, do I connect the points? Yes. Now, why are we connecting the points? Am I going to continue having more figures? Like, if I made this graph bigger and then I ask you for the 10th figure, you should be able to find it, right? So yeah, we're going to connect the points because we could have more figures that we don't see. All right, so let me go ahead and connect the points. You're going to get something that looks like this. Hopefully your line is straighter than mine. But we get a straight line. And then at the end of the line, we're going to add an arrow. What does that arrow mean? Does that mean we stop at figure 5, or does that arrow mean we're going to keep going? The arrow means we're going to keep going. Okay. So if you don't have an arrow, if you just stop at a point, that means that you have nothing else past that point. All right. Very good. So the pattern description. The pattern description, we talked about the fact that this is growing by 5. So this is growing by 5 blocks. And then we talked about the fact that yes, the point should be connected because it is going to continue growing. Or because there are more figures after 10 or after 5. All right, the shape of the graph, it is a straight line. And then from left to right, what is the graph doing? So look at the graph. You notice how the graph is going up? Does that mean the graph is increasing or decreasing? What do you guys think? It means that it is increasing. Now let me go ahead and translate what the following means. So we're saying from left to right, the graph is increasing because the x values, think about what the x values represent. The x value represents the figure number. So we're saying as we go to the next figure number, are the number of blocks going to increase or are they going to decrease? They are going to increase. So as the figure number increases, so will the number of blocks or the y values. So both of these are increasing. Okay. Once again, as we move up in figure number, so will the number of blocks. And the reason why is because every single time we have a new figure number, we're adding 5 extra blocks from the previous one. Okay. All right, what are the x and y intercepts? So now this relates specifically to the graph. The x-axis, the one that goes horizontal, and the y-axis, that one that goes up and down, vertical. Okay. Are we intersecting with the line here, the x-axis? No, we're not. So we don't have an x-intercept. No x-intercept. But what about the y-intercept? Do we cross the y-axis? Look at this line that goes up and down. Is there a point on the y-axis? The point that you see on the y-axis is your starting value. And how many blocks did we have for figure 0? We had 3. So the y-intercept will be the point 0, 3. Okay. All right. Think about what the following question says. Are there any limitations to the x values or to the y values? Domain represents your input. So that's like how far left and how far right you can go. Are we allowed to have less than 0 figures? Can we have negative, like if I had figure number -1, could I have that? I mean, I guess you could, but realistically, you couldn't. Like your figure 0 is what you start with. You can't go back in time and then, or go back and like have negatives. It doesn't make any sense. So there is a limitation. Your limitation is you start at figure 0 and you can't go before figure 0. So you can't go back. I don't even know how to explain it. It's not even like back in time. It's just back in like figure numbers. So no figure less than figure 0. Can't have that. No figure less than figure 0. You can have as many figures as you want after figure 0, but not before figure 0. Okay? And then, is there like a maximum number of blocks you can have? No, there's no maximum number of blocks. So really the only limitation is that you just can't have a figure less than figure 0. All right? Okay. So I know I spent a lot of time going over this first one. I'm not going to go over the next few because it's going to take too long. But the reason why I took so long in this first one was so everybody could see how we were supposed to answer these questions. Okay. We'll check the rest with you guys, but I won't do it up here for you guys. So hopefully you kind of followed along and got an idea of what we're asking you to actually find. So the way that we answered all these questions is how I want you guys to answer the next two on your own with your team. Are there any questions from this first one? Anything I can answer for you guys? Because right now you're going to go back to work, and then we probably won't come back together until after you guys finish tile pattern 2 and 3 and 4. There's 4 of these. Okay. All right. So the rest of this time is yours. Do not move on to the next tile pattern until you are done with your entire group. Your whole group has to be finished. And check your work with us, please.